Hey all, I'm Ashura Eden, and I help high achievers own pleasure, power, and permission for their next level of impact in the world. You can find me at ashuraeden.com as well as on Facebook. So I wanted to speak about permission beyond shame. Why all of your desires matter and why all of your desires are holy. And to also talk about releasing the shame of having a want or a need, which is like, oh my gosh, such a huge cultural thing. The shame of wanting, right? And giving permission to let go of the shame, to have the want or the need, because wants matter and needs matter, all of it matters. And to let the things that you truly desire come into your existence, no matter how they come into your existence, without these, I'm moving in my chair, without these like artificial ideas of, right and wrong, good and bad, should and shouldn't. So if you're here live or on the replay, pop in your questions as they arise. I totally invite this dialogue with you. We're taught, and this is the collective way I'm talking about, women in Western society for the most part. Collectively, not specifically, but collectively, we're taught certain things are wants and certain things are needs. Like a closet full of designer shoes is a want and, food is a need, right? You guys get this. That's not the issue. The issue is that for so many of us, our wants or even our needs get shamed. Hello, whoever is here. Hello, beautiful. Welcome. Hey, Omar. We are taught that our wants aren't valid and our needs aren't valid in many situations. And we get shamed for having a want or having a need. And when I say shamed, I mean you're bad, you're wrong, you shouldn't want that. Even like cultural shit like, you should be more grateful. Things like you should be more grateful. Like when I say shamed, what do I mean? Oh, you should be grateful for what you have. Be humble, be modest. And love, if you're here to be humble or modest, you're not my client. You're not my person. Fuck humble and fuck modest. And I say that with tenderness and love. And I say that with tenderness and love, with like the power, capacity, love, light, bigness that we're all destined to really live. So we're taught collectively that be a good girl, be nice, don't be too big, don't take up too much space, all of those things. And our wants, our needs, our desires get shamed. What does that do, right? That shuts us down to either not ask or not want, or to get really concerned about like where things come from. Like, oh my God, did I do this by the book? Did I meet this desire for a vacation the right way? Did I go through the proper channels? Was I a good girl? And the first thing is like, that's shutting you down. That's a part of the problem. I don't have a script. I have like 3 lines of notes, and I welcome questions live or on the replay. So, jump in with comments here. But at the core level, in our families of origin, in school and society, we're taught that there's a shame in having a need. We're taught that there's a shame, and especially a shame in having a want. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I grew up, and if I wanted like 5 extra dresses or like an extra ice cream cone or whatever, I got told that it was wrong to want that. And no, it's not wrong to want that. We need to put that down. That's a wound. That's its own live stream about something else, but it's not wrong to want that. In fact, it's right to want what you want. You want what you want because of desire. Desire is why you are alive. You are alive because your parents had sexual desire for each other. Desire created you. Desire created life. Your desire for your current partner or your current job or whatever created that. So you want what you want and you need what you need because of desire, and that's holy. So reframe right there. But to go back to like what happens here is that there's shaming that happens. There's like this cultural, be humble, be modest, appreciate what you have, don't dream too big. I wish I had a concrete story, but I'm really just going off the cuff here. Don't be humble, be modest, don't ask for too much. I have a friend, somebody who I adore, who I won't name, but she's always like, well, I need to be like more demure and more modest. And she's relatively successful at what she does, but she's like not happy with it. And she keeps trying to put herself into this box that's too small because she feels ashamed of what she really wants. So what I want to ask you right now is, what do you really want? Like if you had all the permission in the world to want what you want, we'll put aside need for a moment because need's a little bit more basic. But what do you really want? And if you had all the permission in the world right now to want whatever, what would it be? Like live, replay, however you're consuming this, give yourself permission. You have permission. What do you want? And you might have to pause and like meditate and journal on that or write about it or like cry or have a process, right? That's totally cool too. But what do you really want? You have permission. I'm giving you permission. But what happens here is that like culture, school, parents, what do we get told at school, right? Sit down, shut up. You shouldn't want to run around right now. That's for recess, whatever it is, like that we go through when we're kids. You shouldn't want to run around and yell right now. That's for recess. Sit down and be good, right? That's what we get at school. And our families all have their own rules of smallness, being nice, whatever it is, being the good girl, fitting in, and getting shamed, maybe not for everything, but for certain desires, even desires that were needs. I remember as a kid, like one of the things I really needed because I grew up in a dysfunctional family was therapy, right? Like flat out, not even a want, a need. One of the things I needed as a child was therapy. And I didn't really get that need met. And in addition, when I started to voice it, like it eventually got met. But in the beginning, I got told that things like that weren't important, didn't matter, weren't a valid need. And that's the shaming of having a need. So what would happen for you if you stopped shaming your wants and your needs? Just sit with that. What would happen if you gave yourself permission, 1, to want what you want, 2, to honor actual needs, like my therapy as a kid, as valid, to look at them and say, I see you, I validate you. And 3, because healing shame is like, it's a journey, right? You're not going to get that from a video. Or you might, but you're not going to get the whole thing from a video. What if you could put that aside for just a moment? What if you could say, okay, shame, I'm ashamed, my child self, right? I'm ashamed that I need therapy. Okay, can I put that shame aside and just admit that I'm having this need? My adult self, I want a million more dresses. Can I put any shame I might feel over that desire aside and just admit that I'm having a desire? And that's actually the journey that I'm inviting you in with yourself as you watch this, as you go through the replay. Pause this, take notes, do these things with yourself, right? And I am glancing down at like my 2 sentences of notes here. The other thing here, the final thing for today really is about asking. Asking for what you want. And asking for what you need. Having the courage to ask for what you want or what you need. Because it can be terrifying to ask to have our wants met, our desires met. It can be terrifying to ask to have our needs met. Like the quintessential example here, is a romantic partnership. And one person has a sexual desire. It's a want. Maybe it's a need, right? One person has a sexual desire, but they're so scared to ask the other person to meet that want or that need. But it's that courage to ask that moves the needle. It's that courage to ask that gives you permission. And it's really in the act of actually asking. Here's where we're going with this. What dissolves the shame is asking to have the want or the need met. What dissolves the shame is taking action to meet the want or the need. It's actually honoring it as valid. Honoring the want or need as valid. And then taking action to meet it. And particularly if it's something that involves another person, like a promotion at work or a sexual desire with your partner, asking for what you want is what dissolves the shame, among other things. It's one piece. You have permission. You've always had permission. You will always have permission. Can you just give yourself permission? No matter how much shame you feel, can you give yourself permission to honor what you want as valid and holy and sacred, more than, oh yeah, I want this, and it is so beautiful, and it really matters? Can you give yourself permission to honor what you need? I need this, and it's valuable and beautiful and sacred and holy, and it really matters. And then can you have the courage to go out in the world, even if you're still feeling shame, and take actions to what you truly desire? That's what I've got for you today, my loves. If you have questions, comment below. If this is on Facebook, if it's on YouTube, shoot me an email, ashura108108@gmail.com. I do have a couple of spots open for private one-to-one mentorship with me. This mentorship is a journey of owning power, pleasure, and permission, clearing that last trauma. You've already done a ton of healing work and you're ready to heal the last thing. And connecting power, pleasure, and permission with the healing of that last thing into your next level of impact in the world. If that speaks to you, send me an email and we will talk about private mentorship. ashura108@gmail.com. Have a fabulous day.